All right, Ben, welcome back. It is June 2nd and it is 2023. This is your MetaMentors Crypto Rewind and Forecast. We've got four stories, the best crypto stories of the week, we believe. We've got a Ron DeSantis that's saying no to CBDCs and yes to Bitcoin. We've got Celsius got bought out, one of the major Web3 companies got bought out. We've got NFT values have declined, but new owners have nearly doubled. So
interesting.
Yeah. So there's a little punchline there. Don't let me mislead you. There's some good news coming out of this. So you NFT haters, you're going to have to suck it up. And then last but not least, you're going to talk about Pudgy Penguins, which I don't know where that fits in with our Meta Mentors and Web3, but just try to keep it kid friendly.
I just enjoy fat animals at the zoo. So
like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. Let's get going on these stories. All right, Ben, you might have heard of this guy. He's kind of a big deal, Ron DeSantis, and he is the Florida governor. He just announced that he's going to make a run for president in 2024. He is also pro-Bitcoin, hates CBDCs, and hates big government, which is also why he doesn't care for CBDCs. And he's making that known early on. He, like one or two other president hopefuls, see that Bitcoin, Web3, crypto, all the mining and all that is a way forward going for our country, and believes that one side of our government hates it and doesn't want anything to do with it. So he's getting out there early. He's making some comments. I've got a quick. He did his announcement to run for president on a Twitter space along with Elon Musk. I've got a short clip where they get into the cryptocurrencies and stuff that I'm going to play for you. But there's a ton of these articles out there. I've got a couple that I'm going to provide so that our followers can click on it and get educated if they want. If you're into cryptocurrency, Ron DeSantis is going to be a good one to follow. Well, let's just get into the video.
As a follow-up to that, Governor, Dana mentioned Operation Choke Point, and that is a term that's very familiar to crypto companies in Silicon Valley and fintech companies. Basically, it refers to an effort by the federal government, including the SEC, to basically regulate blockchain and crypto companies out of existence. They really feel like they're being driven out of the country. And I'm not talking about scammy ones or the totally fake ones like FTX, but really high quality, good companies, including companies that are public like Coinbase. And these guys are basically begging the government for just a framework. They're just like, tell us how to operate legally and we'll do it. I guess where do you come down on this? What is your view, I guess, broadly of Bitcoin and people's right to hold Bitcoin and to transact Bitcoin?
And Dogecoin.
You have every right to do Bitcoin. The only reason these people in Washington don't like it is because they don't control.
Did you catch that Dogecoin by Elon Musk?
I did see that.
He had to get it in there.
Yeah.
Control it. And they're central planners, and they want to have control over society. And so Bitcoin represents a threat to them. And so, as you're saying, they're trying to regulate it out of existence. Look, could Congress enact a statute to ban things like Bitcoin under the Constitution? They may be able to do. I would oppose that. I think people should be able to do Bitcoin. But Congress has never addressed this in this fashion. And for the bureaucracy to just do it on their own and make it so people can't operate in that space, that's what we mean when we say we've got to return the government to the people's elected representatiants who are our voice to be able to make these decisions. And so as president, we'll protect the ability to do things like Bitcoin. I think these are people that are sophisticated. They can make decisions. There's risks involved with it, but let them do that. I just do not have an itch to have to control everything that people may be doing in this space. And I think that the current regime, clearly, they have it out for Bitcoin. And if it continues for another 4 years, they'll probably end up killing it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that is the strong feeling of people in Silicon Valley who are in this space. And I think we'll be heartened to hear your answer on that. I mean, the weird thing is
So he gets, in the sake of trying to keep this short, he gets into some other really interesting things, but he's pro Bitcoin, he's pro mining, he's pro industry and technology and all the things that you and I see, Ben, that's bringing to the table. And I find it very fascinating that crypto and all of this is quickly becoming something that is a concern for many people. Some like us that are pro jobs, pro technology, pro investment for the future, and then others that hate it because they're being told about ESG and all this pollution that's crypto's causing, and that it's a scam and it's just used for fraud and drug running and stuff like that. So I think it's really awesome, but super fascinating that it's coming out of left field into this presidential election that's coming up very quickly. I'm going to bring up one more article, but I just want to show it off. We're not going to actually go down this path, but it gets into the ESG and so forth. It's worth a read. We're going to include this. So definitely, if you have time and you're following this channel, look up this article. It'll be in our links here. This gets into the ESG fight and some of the stuff that's going on and some real world implications from it. Just going to leave this in. We'll leave this in the content below. That's all I got for right now on DeSantis and Bitcoin and crypto.
Awesome. All right. So you remember last year, 2022, I think it was July, when all the chips were starting to fall in the crypto industry. FTX went down, Voyager. A lot of these places were having liquidity issues. The big one was Celsius, the crypto lender Celsius. It went bankrupt, and it's been in, the legal administration side of this for quite a while, but somebody has now agreed and won the auction to acquire all of the Celsius assets, all the stuff they have left over. They still have to get it past legal and regulatory stuff, but they've actually won the financial auction. I think it was, they didn't list the price, but they do have to come up with a $10 million deposit within 3 days to make it official. So
what a steal. Why didn't we buy it?
Well, yeah, that's just the deposit. And I think they said it was originally valued at over $2 billion, and there were still between $450 and $500 million worth of assets that they had control of. So I'm sure that somebody paid a lot of money, but they had a $10 million deposit to officially say, yes, we're buying it. We're funny serious. Part, one of the things that we talk about a lot on this channel is crypto companies and Web3 companies are more free to, just be creative with the name. Like, that's part of it, is the art and the humor and the Dogecoin and the memes. Like, that's part of these businesses doing billions of dollars worth of deals. Humor's a big part of it. And I think humor's a big part of it because humor's a big part of the community. And this wasn't intended to be humorous, but the group that won the bid to buy Celsius was Fahrenheit. Let's see. Right. Oh, there it is. Add to stream. Here we go. Fahrenheit. The crypto consortium Fahrenheit has agreed to buy Celsius. So the basically the whole world uses Celsius except for America. America uses Fahrenheit. USA wins again. Fahrenheit buys the crypto lender Celsius.
Did the name come before the purchase, or was that name created? It can't be a coincidence, right? I love it.
It is just a coincidence. Maybe that's why they bid a little. Maybe they were like, "This is meant to be." But right, yes, Fahrenheit is a group, a consortium of buyers that includes venture capital company Arlington Capital and Bitcoin miner, the U.S. Bitcoin Corp. So it was already around, and when Celsius had their assets up for sale, Fahrenheit bought it. So approximately $450 to $500 million worth of assets. And I think all they have to do is get through the regulatory, which I say all they have to do. That's still quite a big step. But other than that, it's official. Fahrenheit has Celsius.
Nice. We'll see what kind of comeback it has because obviously it was a major company before the crash.
Yeah.
All right. If you've been paying attention, NFTs have declined a lot overall average, not all of them, but a lot of projects that were bringing ridiculous amounts of money have come way down and are in what I would call a super affordable range. There's actually some that have some massive utility that I thought, 6 months ago, a year ago, I thought I'll never be able to buy these. One of them being VFriends. I think there's a lot of utility with VFriends, but VFriends was excruciating to me because I probably missed it by about a month or two. I think had I seen it a month or two earlier, I would have known what I was looking at and bought it. I remember when Gary Vee started posting them before he even said what they were. And I remember thinking, this is literally what I thought when I saw him posting these. I thought he has gone off the freaking deep end. Like, what the hell are these drawings? And then I found out what NFTs were about 30 to 60 days later and so on and so forth. Well, one of the major blue chip NFT projects was Moonbirds. You may remember them by Kevin Rose. I didn't know who Kevin Rose was prior to Moonbirds. So I got to, as this took off, I did some research and obviously this guy's got a lot going on to say it. Anyways, Moonbirds shot through the roof. Well, this tweet just came out and caught my attention because I hadn't followed Moonbirds. I hadn't been following a lot of these NFT projects because of just the craziness in the market, and I thought they were out of range. Well, now a lot of these are back in range. And so this tweet here by Whale Swoosh goes into why Moonbirds has basically, I don't want to say failed as an NFT, but tanked. It's down like 95% or something. You can now buy them for a lot cheaper. But essentially what's important and why I wanted to cover this article is it goes over the idea of building a community and making not promises, but, building a solid community and then not performing, not executing on what you promised and going backwards on some of it. I don't want to keep using the word promises, but you lay out this groundwork of what's going to happen. And then if you don't follow through, right, you're letting a lot of people down, especially when they're spending tons of money on these NFT projects. And unfortunately, this Moonbirds has done exactly that. So I'm not going to read through this thread. We'll include it. But some of the things that it gets into here is that when they pre-minted, it was a complete sellout. 2.5 ETH was the pre-mint price. And it sold out like within hours. It shot up to 40 ETH, as high as 40 ETH within days. So 2.5 to 40 ETH, roughly $120,000 at that point. And since then, the floor price has declined like 95%, like it's saying here. And you can see the graph. But so here's some of the reasons. Here's where this project suffered. And let me add in this real quick. This tweet, he's not saying that the project's done and it's a wash and all that stuff. He's just saying, hey, these are the things we need to be careful of as a community when you're building an NFT community project or if you're looking to buy in. So Proof was the name of the company that actually created the project. And this guy, Ryan Carson, was their COO. He basically left Proof right after the mint, which kind of sent up some red flags. So that's what started it. Then there's these rewards called nesting rewards. If you own a Moonbird and you basically stake it like you would with crypto, but it's an NFT, they were calling it nesting. And so if you hold on to your Moonbird, essentially, then you were going to get this swag and these cool things. Well, a lot of people were horribly disappointed when they were getting fanny packs and socks and stuff like that. Personally, I kind of think it's cool, but I get if you're spending good money on these and expecting some real rewards, that might be a little disappointing.
It is cool unless you were the one that paid 40 ETH.
Right.
in which case, $85,000 better be a real nice fanny pack.
Right. And so, and then this Proof concert in February, or Proof conference, which I guess is a big deal. Again, this is a leading NFT project. They canceled the conference. And they don't really give an excuse why or anything like that. So these things are starting to add up. And then they had 50% of their funds roughly in Silicon Valley Bank, which was another huge hit. Luckily, they got, like everybody else, those funds were guaranteed, so they didn't lose that money. But that was, I guess, another telltale sign that kind of threw off the whole deal. Anyways, so as I started getting into this, I wanted to take a look at some of the actual projects and where they're at as far as OpenSea and some of that stuff. So here's Moonbirds, and you can see now the floor price is at 2.129 ETH. And here's, if you've never seen them, here's some of the Moonbirds. And check out, let's see, like here's, if you look at this purple one here, it's on sale 2.24. It once sold for 13.69 ETH. And who knows what the ETH price was at that point? Probably somewhere between $3 and $4 grand.
Right.
And there's a bunch of them on here. You can kind of scroll through. There's one that was at 21 ETH. But so here's the activity. Let's look at the activity on OpenSea for its sales. And this is, so this goes back to last year. So this is a year's worth. You can see where the volume was up to basically 60,000. It was selling for around 32 ETH there. Again, it got as high as 40 after the mint, within days of the mint. And you can see it's tanked to where now it's down to that 2 ETH. And this isn't the only project. Moonbirds, some of the others they referenced was Doodles, Invisible People. You may have remembered some of those too. Doodles you saw everywhere, and now it's way down there. Let me pull it up real quick. Anyways, the point to this is what attracted me to NFTs was the utility. A lot of people are in it for the art and the parties and stuff like that. That's awesome. But I was interested in the utility. And just because these projects are suffering during this bear market doesn't mean that the utility is not still there. So the point to my little conversation here, my little story is, if you're looking to swoop in and get some quality projects with some awesome utility that you think have some staying power, there is an awesome opportunity to do that right now. I mentioned VFriends. Like VFriends are now in the 2 ETH range on part of the original collection. I'm very strong. I'm starting to kind of identify which one I want to buy, and I'm planning on pulling the trigger. Kind of waiting to see that if it's going to get maybe even a little bit better price, but I think I'm going to buy one. So that's kind of my NFT project. Last but not least on this deal, if you need to see, if you need a sign that Bitcoin and NFTs and crypto and everything is the future, how about the fact that Peter Schiff has his own NFT project that's rolling out today, June 2nd through the 9th. It's an auction. Yes. It's a 1 through 50, as you can see here. And it's, I guess, based on this iconic painting. They call it the Golden Triumph. And so here it is, June 9th. It goes through June 9th. The process is, I didn't get into it too much, but the fact that Peter Schiff has decided to join the NFT community, and it's also, I'm saying NFTs, it's also going to be inscribed on ordinals.
Yeah. And
so
he's kind of a long-term, I mean, he's been a Bitcoin hater, like a crypto hater, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
He's got his own NFT line coming out. All right.
It's getting real, man. Again, in the bear market, dude.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, a lot happening. So if you're into utility, you're thinking NFTs might be worth a look for you, now is an awesome time to look at some of these projects that have crazy utility. They're awesome, like long-term hold type of projects. Might be able to get a steal.
It's interesting because when we're doing these episodes in a couple of years, we're going to go back, we're going to look at the ups and downs of some of these prices. Let's see. Share this tab instead. Like we're doing right here. This was the high point of the NFT and crypto markets. Late 2021, November, December. We're looking back at that. We started the channel right about here, right? Yeah. January 1st. So right after the hype, everything blew up. Ryan and I were talking. We loved it. We decided to start learning more about it. So we started in January, and it has been a ride down. But eventually, when it goes back up, we're going to be talking about maybe not Moonbirds. This is where you have to be very particular with your money. But if you put your money in the right project right now, this is the date. These are the times that we're going to look back on later and say, at one point you could have got a Moonbird or a VFriends for 2 Ethereum. You know what I mean? And now they're back up, and they're, you know, there's plans with the amount of users and the amount of adoption. I mean, the little hype burst we got right here might pale in comparison to what it's actually going to be once, you know, the market really kicks in. And these times right here, when you're seeing how low it is right now, these are the times we're going to go back and say, remember when we were talking about this stuff then? Boy, I wish I would have bought some then.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny, the second guessing, man, we're borderline getting ready to go down this geek lane again. So I'm going to save us all the trouble, but we've said so many times, how lucky are we? We caught it at the time we did, that it was coming down. Neither of us had lost much. We didn't have a whole lot in. We were just getting exposed to this, and we're getting the experience of the ups and downs to know how this feels. I literally can recognize when my emotions are getting a little too high and stuff. Like I've got a long way to go, but the experience of this market over the last year has taught me a ton of stuff. And one of them is recognizing that NFT projects that have real utility and long-term commitments and community, man, if you can, it's just worth paying attention. I'm excited. I'm just flat out, I'm gonna shut up. I'm excited. A lot happening. Let's keep this thing going.
All right. Well, we will keep it going. And I also have an NFT project for you. This one's new, so it hasn't came all the way down. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's blowing up right now. It's the Pudgy Penguins, and their big deal is they have a physical product as well. We've been talking about some of these toys that come with the NFT attached. Well, just recently, the Pudgy Penguins released their physical toy. Well, they're calling it a phygital. It's a portmanteau of physical and digital. The toy, they sold over 20,000 in just a couple of days, 20,000 items. That equates to about $500,000. Let me see, $500,000 in purchases on Amazon in the first 2 days. Bring it up here. This is it, Pudgy Penguins. We'll watch this little clip.
Julie, it's time to go.
This is like their commercial before they launched on Amazon.
Kind of like the Toy Story theme.
It's almost nostalgic. You remember when we were doing Metaverse and NFT projects?
Coast is clear. My back was starting to hurt.
It's a beautiful day.
Has anyone seen my hat? My picture is up there.
What's that sound?
Just a minute. I need to grab my pudgy.
Back to your places.
Quiet, everyone.
Coast is clear. Nice hat. Did you catch any fish?
At Amazon, huh?
So it's like a physical toy. It's an actual toy that has taken off. But one of the things that they're claiming that they're hoping it's going to do is bring people who are not in the Web3 space into it, because the toy is the marketed product, but it comes with NFTs and different personalities and other stuff that you can get. You get there and you go in there, and each one has a digital code. So each individual code comes with different traits. So you buy these toys, you get the traits, you keep the traits you want, you can sell the traits you don't. Plus, anybody who owns the NFT, because Pudgy Penguins existed before the phygital toys. So anybody who already has an NFT, it actually has a percentage of the revenue, the profit sharing. So they're getting a piece of all the toy sales. Plus, if you buy the toy, then you can also buy and sell and trade the traits. And there's been a lot of that going on. It's It's an exciting reach into Web3 for people who normally would not. Kids are the ones who are much quicker to adapt to digital stuff anyway. Kids can, you know, you hand them an iPad and they can figure it out in 10 minutes. So something like this, they're going to grow up understanding the purpose of having a standalone, you know, NFT, a non-fungible token that is attached to this toy that shows true ownership, that you're able to buy, sell, and trade the things that come with it. In a matter of, you know, less than a decade, kids who grew up on this stuff are going to be the adults who just expect it and everything. They're not going to buy a Rolex that's not NFT verified that it's a real Rolex. You know what I mean? They're not going to buy luxury items, and they're going to use NFTs to prove ownership on everything. And this is the kind of stuff that, you know, you have to dip your toes into before you jump in. And it's a very, like I said, phygital is the word they use. That's going to be the new podcast. That's a portmanteaued word that's not in the dictionary yet, but I guarantee you we'll see that a lot in the next 5 years. A phygital toy.
It's catchy.
It is. It rolls off the tongue. So Pudgy Penguins, they've got big plans for the NFTs, but they're also hoping to just move the entire industry forward, which is what you want, especially at this time, like we talk about with it being in a down market. We need industry movers that are going outside of the industry to bring new blood in, and this might be one of the best ways that I've seen so far, at least this year.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. That wraps it up for June 2nd. Thanks for watching. Comment below, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.